Transforming our lives is a simple shift from living in our subconscious to living in our conscious, because most of us spend most of our time living from the unconscious part of our minds. And by doing so, we are reacting to life, we are reacting with the old patterns, the old self-limited belief systems, the old limited beliefs of other people, emotionally reacting to negative situations that are around us. So we need to move our vibration up. We need to be thinking, if I am going to become unstuck, then actually it's my mindset that needs to change. And once my mindset changes, then everything else can follow. Hi, my name's Catherine, and today we're looking about how we can transform our lives and what steps we can take to do this. So I don't know if you're a regular viewer. If you are, welcome back, and if you're not, welcome. And if you're a regular, you will know I talk a lot about living from our conscious mind. When we feel stuck, when we feel in a place of lack, it's very hard to see a way out. It's very hard to think that I can be moving myself from here to there, because you don't see a way out. You are tied to a job, you are tied to financial responsibilities, you are tied to debts, you are tied to all sorts of things, and it can seem overwhelming, but actually you can move out of that space. So what we have to do is we have to start thinking about how we perceive ourselves and how we perceive others. So first of all, what we do is we get into the habit of living in a conscious state, okay? So whereas before we would just be going through life and we will be reacting to the things that are happening to us. Maybe we have negative family members and we're letting them get us down. We're just reacting to them all the time. And maybe we have unhappy relationships. Maybe we are unhappy at work and we're just putting up with it. And these burdens just pile on top of us, and we become like an old worn out donkey treading up a very steep hill with burdens on our back. So for example, how we react to other people around us. Well, other people around us can have a very negative impact on our lives, because if you are a people pleaser, if you are someone who's empathetic, you will be that go-to punch bag. And we allow ourselves to take on the emotions and negative emotions of other people. They drain us. And some of these people we can't get rid of in our lives. They are permanent. They are family members. They're not going anywhere. So how do we manage to react differently? The key is to detach. We have to detach ourselves from these people, not physically but mentally. So whereas before we would have, say, a phone call with a family member who is always negative, always moaning, always seeing the bleak and the darkness in their lives and around the world, and we take on all that negativity, and when we put the phone down to them, we feel completely and utterly drained. So this is what we have to do with people like this, is we just have to detach ourselves from them. We have to completely detach. We have to detach from the history that we share with them. So so much of that conversation is draining, not just because of the conversation we're having with them right now, but because of the whole history that we share with that person, and all that history piles on top of us. So what we need to do is we need to detach emotionally from the history. We need to detach emotionally from the person. We can hear their voice, it can come into our ears and we can hear it, but we're not going to react to it. We're going to become that unbothered person. And how we learn how to not react to it is we think from our conscious place. So when we're thinking from our unconscious, we react emotionally to things. Oh, and they never, and you said this, and oh, I didn't know. You're not going to do that anymore. You're just going to not care, okay? Because you're going to react from your conscious place, and your conscious place is protecting your peace. Yes, your conscious place is guarding that peacefulness inside of you. So the person on the phone is saying all these things that would historically be very triggering. They may be baiting you, but you're not going to react to them because you're protecting your peace. You're no longer reacting emotionally, you're just detached. You're letting that voice in the phone just be a noise. It's just a noise, and you can just occasionally go, yeah, okay, yeah, and they will feel that detachment and they will kick back against that detachment initially, but you just stand strong because you're protecting yourself. So you're no longer becoming like an emotional sponge that soaks up everyone else's negativity, because that's what's worn you out and dragged you down and had you crawling on the floor, because you've become that sponge. So you detach away from them and you don't allow their emotions to become your emotions. Yeah, this takes practice and this takes time, and initially you will get a lot of kickback and a lot of emotional baiting, a lot of emotional guilt tripping, but you can recognize that for what it is, because if you have been doing shadow work and facing your shadows, you will understand that this person who is baiting and emotionally guilt tripping you is working from their unconscious mind all the time. So once we get to that point where we can emotionally detach from the negativity around us and become unbothered, then that frees us up. Now we're not carrying those emotional burdens of other people that we've been carrying for years and years and years and years. This takes practice, this takes time, but you can do it. I have done it. I emotionally carried a family member's burdens for at least 30 years, every single day, and I allowed those phone calls every single day or those conversations to drag me down. But I have learned to detach, so you can too. And then, after we've put that one aside, we're going to learn that actually we can step into the life we want. We might not be there yet, but actually we can do it. We just have to make the steps in it forward to doing those things. So how do we do that? Well, we've been conditioned over the years to take on other people's self-limited beliefs about what we are capable of. Their fears about what we want to do. So what we do is we introspect, we go inward, we block out the noise, we think about what we want to do, yeah, what we are passionate about, what we love, what drives us, what really lights that fire inside of us, and we block out the noise. Yeah, you may have to isolate, whatever. Yes, you may have to communicate, but you communicate minimally, because actually this is key. This is your transformational period. And if you allow all that noise in, then you're not allowing yourself to transform, and you need that space to be able to do so. So therefore, you're not telling people about your transformation. You're not telling them the things that you're thinking of pursuing or you're making steps to pursue, because then you're going to allow their self-limited belief, their limited beliefs about you affect your confidence. So you're going to keep it to yourself. You isolate that part, you guard that part, yeah, and you make steps forward. You're thinking about your goals, what you want to achieve, and you're doing it on your own, okay? You can do it on your own, you can. You don't need to tell everyone. You might feel the need to tell everyone, but actually it's not going to benefit you in any way if you tell people. So just keep it to yourself, keep it personal, and don't let other people's beliefs and opinions affect what you are doing. And then you're going to not allow your own limited self-limiting beliefs drag you down. You will be facing your shadow side. Yeah, you will look at the things that have held you back in the past. You will look at your fear of failure. Yeah, you will look at all those fears, all those doubts, all those things that made you think you couldn't do what you really wanted to do, and you would talk yourself out of it. And you're going to face them. Okay, you're going to face your shadow side. You're going to work through the fear, because fear is just an illusion. Fear isn't real, yeah? Here you are, you're just a person. Let's zoom out, okay? Whoosh, we're going up above the earth, and we look down, and there's billions of people on the earth, yeah? All tiny, minute dots on the earth. And some of these people on the earth can do really great things, some can't, yeah? But how can they do it? They're just a tiny dot. Well, you're just a tiny dot too, and you are capable. You, tiny dot, are capable of doing anything just as much as anyone else. So you're going to realize that fear is just an illusion, because if there were two of you, say there's two people, a clone of you, okay? So if the clone of you had no fear of failure, no worries about their own abilities, and they just pursued their dreams, yeah? Wow, that person then goes off, has an amazing life. Then there's you, who's trapped in a prison of self-sabotage and limited beliefs, and you're just staying stuck because you don't believe in yourself. The only difference between the two of you is your beliefs and your fears. They don't have the fear, you do. Fear is just an illusion. So you are therefore going to get rid of those fears. You're going to put them over there. You're not going to allow those fears to hold you back from achieving the life that you can achieve. And then you're going to imagine that life. Yeah, you're going to imagine that life as if you're already in it. So if you want to become a fantastic writer, you feel that you know that you have a wonderful way with language, you know that this is something you're good at, you've let other people talk you out of it, you've let yourself talk you out of it in the past, but this time you're not going to do that, and you're going to imagine yourself being that famous writer and publishing those books and having everyone just like think, oh my God, this person is just the most incredible writer, and we're so pleased that we've read their books, and aren't they amazing? And you're going to imagine all that. And that is how you transform yourself. Okay, thank you so much for listening to me today. Please let me know what passions you are going to pursue. And let me know if you are in the process of your transformation. Okay, please do like, comment, love to hear from you, and subscribe. Protecting that peace within so we can send all our love out. Wishing you a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.